everyone. You have all made it. We have made it so many months later. It is Oscar night, and you are watching the Collider live stream of the entire ceremony. Mantz, welcome to the show.
I'm so happy to be here with you, Perry Nemiroff, on Oscar night. For people who love movies and everyone watching this live stream, we know you do. I know you do. This is bigger than the Super Bowl. It all comes down to this. All the ups and downs of award season that we've been tracking on Collider FYC and elsewhere with the mess that it's turning into the Oscars. What's going to happen?
I am so curious. I have no idea what's going to happen, to be completely honest with you. But what I do know you're going to get from us tonight is every single commercial break, you are going to see two of your favorite Collider folks come sit on this stage and tell you about whatever just happened, whether we're talking about the ceremony and how it's being run, or certain movies getting their Oscar statues. So stay tuned. Keep an eye on this channel. Watch with us the entire night. We will see you guys during the first commercial break.
So we're done.
Hi, we're live. The only thing that can make me happier than a good start to the Academy Awards so far tonight is sitting here with Baxter.
Hi, Perry. This is my dog. He came dressed up for the occasion. But quickly, let's talk about how the show opened.
I'm pretty happy with
You liked it?
How it opens. I mean, everybody out there knows I love the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, and I liked the energy that the performance brought to the opening of the show, and especially to go straight from that to a trio like Maya Rudolph, Amy Poehler, and Tina Fey. I mean, seeing the three of them on stage, I think they crushed the very beginning, but seeing the three of them up there did make me wish that why didn't they just hire them to host the whole show?
Any reservations that I had with with Queen and Adam Lambert opening the show, because it just felt a little strange for the Oscars, but they all vanished the moment the three of them hit the stage. I forgot about the award, or I forgot about the musical performance. I forgot about the kind of awkward red carpet video they opened the show with, and instead I just wanted to hear more jokes from those three women. And then Regina King picked up Best Supporting Actress, which I think surprised nobody.
Pretty much. At that point, I think every single person in the room was like, I'm still in the race with my Oscar ballot. And just continuing what she's done the entire award season, she got up there extremely gracefully, thankfully, and gave a really moving speech that just further makes me happy that she got this accolade, because even though everyone knows The Favorite was my favorite movie of last year, so I'm always rooting for that one, but Regina King's performance in If Beale Street Couldn't Talk deserved that statue.
Yeah, and I think she's been on such a roll this entire Oscar season that it was nice to see her pull out the big win. And then the documentary feature category was kind of a surprise.
I would say
it was more of a toss-up.
Yeah, I heard the most grumbles after that category, because Free Solo was definitely the front runner, and it is a phenomenal film. I heard a couple people say they hadn't watched it yet, and I can't recommend it enough. But everyone was saying that if it was upset by anything, it was going to be RBG. And I wouldn't have been all that surprised if RBG was called, but the fact that Free Solo was the one that was honored, I think, is the way it should have gone, even though there was a bunch of great contenders in that category and also left out of that category.
Yes, there were definitely a few absences in that category, but yeah, I thought the filmmakers gave a very good speech. They were in the office talking on your show with Scott Mantz very, very recently, and they were all very gracious people, and it was nice to hear them have a very rousing speech there to open the show.
Yeah, I think we're off to a pretty good start with Free Solo. I think that was my number 9 of last year, and I liked the touch that they thanked Alex's girlfriend, because that was something that was really, there were two special things that I didn't expect from that documentary. One, just what he does, the free solo climbing, is astonishing all on its own. But then you factor in, one, what his hobby and his passion does to his loved ones. This is adorable. Sorry. I'm getting distracted.
Sorry.
What it does to his loved ones, which is where Sonny comes into play in the movie, but also what he's doing, the fact that a filmmaking team is around him capturing it. God forbid something happened, it would have a major ripple effect. And it's just that's part of the heart of the movie, is it's his passion, and you understand what's driving him to risk his life, but what he's doing is also affecting everybody around him.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I really am looking forward to watching it, because I've heard it's very good. And I also appreciated Helen Mirren and Jason Momoa shouting out to people who want to wear pink at the award show.
You're
it made
part
me
of their
feel
club,
I feel like I'm on the same level as Dame Helen Mirren and the fish god himself.
They definitely pulled out all the stops in terms of the presenters thus far. I think they went 2 for 2, and if that's what we're going to get the entire night without any host and just big names presenting these awards, in that department, so far so good.
All right, and on that note, let's go back to the show.
Oh my God, Ruth Carter winning the Oscar for Best Costume Design. I feel like I predicted this as soon as I saw the movie last February. What do you think of that?
I am feeling so happy for Ruth. I think it's a long time coming for her. And I know every movie in that category was well-deserved, of course, but I was really rooting, if you can't tell by what I am wearing, I was really, really rooting for Black Panther. I was really, really rooting for Ruth Carter. I am so happy she won. Her speech was great, talking to her about her mom, and adding vibranium to the costume was very expensive. It was just a fun, great speech, well-deserved.
I just thought that the costumes really popped in Black Panther.
Yes.
They were super memorable. And I know, people had talked about the favorite potentially winning. It's Sandy Powell. She's a 2-time nominee this year for that film and for Mary Queen of Scots. I feel like maybe she split the vote. Sandy Powell's fans maybe didn't know which film to vote for her.
Do you find it, though, a little weird? Because because right before that, they announced the makeup, and I was wondering, okay, it's got to go to Mary Queen of Scots, one of the period films.
Right.
And I was a little surprised that it actually went to Vice. And do you feel like that kind of, it's shifting a little bit now, and Black Panther is getting this award instead of the traditional
I've heard
films.
it referred to as period porn before, like the costumes and stuff. And I think that you're right. It is changing. This new Academy isn't interested in just rewarding just because you have a period piece with all these elaborate costumes.
Yeah. Not that it's less, work.
Right. There's still plenty of creativity and imagination on display, but I think what Ruth Carter did with Black Panther is something that I hadn't really seen before on the big screen.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I know she did a lot of research. There's a lot of different textures, colors, different things that she used, and I absolutely loved it. I also think that it's interesting because didn't Darkest Hour win last year for makeup as well?
Yes, exactly. And Christian Bale, his team kind of doing the exact same thing there, just putting on a ton of pounds. You can see why Vice stood out in that category above Border and Mary Queen of Scots.
And I just got to say, again, I think it's nice, and not saying that any of the other work of the other makeup artists for these other films did less work, but I think putting a prosthetic on someone, a full face prosthetic, and having them wear it and having it look so seamless on camera is not easy. I've worn prosthetic before, and it's only partial on my nose, and it is difficult to act with. It is difficult to put on, and I can't imagine how long Christian Bale had to sit in that chair to get the full face on.
Yeah, and exactly. And part of that is also the fact that, Christian Bale's so good as Chaney. He helps sell that makeup job. Anyways, we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
Wow, what a great set right there. One surprise upset, but maybe not. What did you think? Production design for Black Panther winning over the favorite, which was the favorite to win.
I actually put Black Panther on there because we had worked with them during when they were releasing the film, and we kind of got an insight into both the costume design and the production design, so I know how much went into building those worlds. So I actually picked Black Panther for that category.
Whoa, way to go.
Well, favorite was my second choice, though.
Well, favorite was my first choice, but I'm glad to see that Black Panther, so far, it's 2 for 2 tonight. Yeah. And now it's nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, but the other 6 are what we call below the line categories. And so far, it is winning 2 of those below the line categories. What do you think of the show tonight? I have to say, for a show that doesn't have a host, it is moving along quite fast, and I think so far so good. I think it's great.
Yeah, they're speeding along. They are playing off people in what I would say what you're talking about, like the lesser categories.
Yeah.
You're talking about like makeup or whatever, and production design, costume design. They're giving much more time to someone like Alfonso Cuarón or something who won for best cinematography, which they originally were going to put in the commercial break, which would have been a travesty.
But the good thing is that so far, like at the beginning of the show, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey and Maya Rudolph making fun of the fact that there's no host, and then Tyler Perry, who presented cinematography, saying, "Thank you for not putting me on during a commercial break to present this next award." Okay, they're leaning into the controversy. They're having fun with it, which I think is the best way to diffuse all of it. And it's working. The show is great. What do you think so far? Hit us up at Collider Video. Hit me up at Twitter. What's your Twitter handle, mister?
At Think Hero.
That Think Hero. So let us know what you think of the Academy Awards so far. I'm having a great time. I think the best is yet to come. This is really, with all the controversy going into this night, I think so far it's been really, really awesome.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are tuning in because of the movies themselves. Mm-hmm. Despite all the controversy that maybe us here that are more in the insider talk about a lot. But you know what? Most of the casual movie fans don't know about that stuff. They just watching the show. They want to see their movies win.
Well, we're going to see a lot more from Black Panther, I am sure. And this is a movie that made more than $1.3 billion worldwide. Bohemian Rhapsody, the show opens with Queen doing We Will Rock You. That made more than $850 million. We're going to take a break. We'll come back during the next break. Keep watching.
Bohemian Rhapsody winning both Best Sound Editing and Best Sound Mixing. They are the champions of the world tonight. Mark Riley, what do we think?
I think it's Quiet Place got robbed. All right, A Quiet Place should have won one of those because you know what is important about A Quiet Place is no sound whatsoever, and that takes a deft hand at putting that together and building that suspense. But Bohemian Rhapsody, fine. I can see it work.
I never understood that argument for A Quiet Place, which I thought was a fantastic movie.
Yes,
and I
great
love the
movie.
sound design in it.
Sure.
But they're always like, well, yeah, A Quiet Place is going to win because of the absence of sound. That means that there's not as much for these guys to do. Not as much mixing, not as much editing.
I disagree a bit. You know why? It's because that silence there is very deafening, but they're in The Quiet Place. There are a bunch of just kind of sound out there, natural sound, nature sound, the things that you got to build together and do, like I said, a deft hand at making those levels just right.
I see.
And also instilling that dread that is there, that silence that is there is something that keeps the audience on the edge of their seat. And I think that's a really, really talent in there. But that was my pick. So, but when you consider Bohemian Rhapsody
Yeah.
and the last scene, especially with
Right, the Live Aid.
with the Live Aid, the crowd, the music and everything, I get why it won. And I guess that's a good thing.
That's the thing. This is the most successful drama at the box office of all time. It made around
wow.
$800 million worldwide. A huge part of that was the concert scenes. It was the music. It was the sound, frankly. So,
Yeah.
you know, Perry and I, we decided that we were going to go predict both of these for Bohemian Rhapsody rather than sort of hedge and say, oh, this is going to win that, but another movie's going to win this one.
Which is what I did.
Yeah, I think most people kind of did that, but yeah, in this category, it's always just so tricky. I just take one movie and hope to win one of the two.
Yeah, there you go. The other category I did First Man because I thought that
Right.
that was some spectacular mixing and whatever you want to call it, especially when he's going to space and all the different sounds from the spaceship and all these different things. But I get it. Bohemian Rhapsody, that's a good win for them. I understand it.
First Man still has one more chance at visual effects. We'll
There it
see
is.
if it wins. Stay tuned.
All right.
Hey, this is Steve Weintraub, and
Vinny Mancuso from Collider.com.
so we just saw Roma win Best Foreign Language Film. Was that to you the most anticlimactic thing of the night?
Yeah, I'm glad that we got to talk about the one thing besides Shallow winning Best Song that was just like a lock to happen. And we only got one category to talk about. So, I mean, what do you think that means for Roma's chance at Best Picture?
I think that for Best Picture, it's either Roma, Green Book, or Black Panther. I think those are the three. I mean, I think Bohemian actually has a chance, but I wouldn't place money on it. I would say one of the three that I just said. But did you think at any point, because Cold War is a spectacular movie, did you think that it had any chance over Roma?
I like you said when we were watching it, it was about 60-40, but it was basically Roma from the start. I mean, the other movies might as well not have been there. It should have just been Cold War and Roma. And I mean, no offense to the other movies, they were fantastic, but I'm just saying that I think it was about 60-40, and in my head, in my heart, I was like, it's gonna be Roma.
Well, the thing is about the film, it's very interesting to me because I've heard a lot of people out there who have said it was a little boring to them talking about Roma. They couldn't get into it. And I really think that Roma is one of those movies that plays so differently when you see it in a movie theater versus watching it at home. Because I don't care who you are, and I think even for myself, when I'm watching something on Netflix, I have my phone near me.
Yeah.
If I have to go to the bathroom, I just get up and go. And when you're in a movie theater and you have to go pee, you really think to yourself, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Like you start weighing, do I want to leave the theater? And for me, I saw Roma in a movie theater and I thought it was a masterpiece. I think it's phenomenal. The movie is amazing. It's like being a fly on the wall in these people's homes, you know? But I think it plays differently at home.
Yeah, for sure. I saw it in the theater too, and I think I needed it because I think it's like the least Netflixy movie of all time. But it's the fact that it's on Netflix, you start it and you're just sort of living in this home with this family, and you're just in your home by yourself, and you're just sort of waiting for a story to happen because, you know, Netflix is so story heavy.
Sure.
So
We got to go back to the Oscars, but keep on watching and hope you've been enjoying it so far.
The night continues with, I guess, one of two surprises, but we had the Black Panther intro for its Best Picture nomination as well. What do you think of that?
Every time I see it, I think maybe it's gonna get Best Picture. Maybe. Like, it's a crazy world and it's possible.
It's not that crazy. I have my two top tiers still for Best Picture, but there's a little group that I think Black Panther is in just below that. But after that, we had the editing category, and I got a nice surprise. I went Vice. What did you go?
I went Vice also. I was like dead. I was sure. I was dead set on that. I knew
As
it was
was
going to be
I.
Vice. I was shocked, but some people seemed to guess exactly what it was. So
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody is in pretty good shape right now. And, you know, when it comes to the Academy Awards, the specific branches vote on their nominees, but then it's opened up to the Academy for the actual win opportunity. So the fact that it's already got those, it's already got that and the two sound categories. I don't know. I'm
thinking
there's
Best
a lot
Picture?
of momentum behind that.
for Best Picture,
Well,
or
if
for
something-
Rami.
If something starts to accumulate more and more awards that you might not have expected as we lead up to Best Picture, that could be a serious sign.
That's true, but I just feel like the Oscars is not going to do that this year. Like, I just don't think that they're going to look at Bohemian Rhapsody. I feel like these are, because they're not going to give it Best Picture, they're acknowledging other things. But you could be right. It could be saying to us, we're warming you guys up, we're gearing you towards this. Get ready, because it's going to win.
I'm curious. We still have about half the night to go, so let's see how it plays out.
All right, guys, we're here. It's Dennis here with Jay.
Yeah.
And we're here. They got the two perfect people to
talk about these awards.
No, to talk about the Ballad of Buster Scruggs music, right? That's what we're talking about. No, we're going to talk about the Into the Spider-Verse win here.
As well as Mahershala Ali's win for Best Supporting Actor. This means a lot for both of us being people of color.
Yeah.
And it's the representation we always talk about. And Spider-Verse crossed all boundaries this year as an animated feature film. And I think that's amazing for us to have the award and have the respect and the recognition it got.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those movies that, I was a little wary in the beginning where I was like, oh my God, is this going to be like Lego Movie all over again, where it's like a movie that gets snubbed? Lord and Miller were associated with that. They didn't direct this one, but they did write and produce this one. But definitely, it deserved to win. It was one of my favorite pictures of the whole movie,
Yes.
of the whole year. Sorry.
Oh, absolutely. For me too, and everyone knows how I feel about Black Panther. This movie, just as much as Black Panther, encapsulated you and watched you go through Miles' story from the moment he got his abilities to meeting Peter and Gwen and everything, and how him coming into his own as a hero. And that's why I'm dressed like Kingpin from Spider-Verse, by the way. But I'm happy for this film, and it will allow more groundbreaking animated features such as Spider-Verse to go forward. We're looking forward to the sequel to this already.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't take 4 years as this one took, to come to forefront.
Yeah, and also the animation style. It was something new and different from what we hadn't seen before. And
Yeah.
you got a lot of that comic book style into the animated thing. They also made it even like stop motion like as well.
They did so much. I mean, you knew from the beginning with the opening credits when you saw the title cards with Sony and the Marvel and how it kept changing. It let you know what you were getting with this. And you got it. And once you got into the film, you were just like this. You didn't want to go to the restroom. You didn't want to get up. You didn't want to move. I know I had to go to the bathroom twice, but I held it. All
right. Yeah. All right. So that's it for this commercial break, and we'll be continuing with our coverage later.
Hello, guys. We are back. I'm with Kim Archer. Hi. I'm so excited right now. We're talking about the two categories that just gave out their statues tonight. We've got Best Animated Short and Best Documentary Short. Did animated go the way you thought it would?
It was going the way I hoped it would, because when Bao came out, I was so excited. I felt like I was watching a documentary about my grandmother. Because I think it's definitely universal, but being kind of part of the Asian diaspora, it touched my heart so much.
Yeah, I definitely thought that one was going to win a super sweet film. Also, Pixar having your back might help a little there, but it is a well-deserved win. I was a little surprised, as you guys know if you watched our pre-show, about the documentary category, though, because there's this one movie called Black Sheep in the mix that I thought was going to win it. It is phenomenal, a style I haven't really seen before, but it ended up going to period, end of sentence, and I don't think that's a bad pick either.
I haven't seen it. I've seen it on Netflix. Now I'm going to have to watch it.
It really is a must, and like they were kind of talking about on stage a little bit, it's an important message to send that it shouldn't be taboo, and there's areas in the world where they don't have the simple things that we here in the States or other countries have, and it's a problem that should definitely be something that everyone's aware of.
I've definitely seen it in the news, how different women's lives are just with simple not having access to something that we would think is very normal, very daily, I guess. Well, not daily, monthly.
It does come through in the actual piece too. So in addition to them addressing that issue, it's also about, them making pads, them making sanitary napkins to support themselves in an area where women can't even have jobs either.
I mean, if it's weird how this part of health gets overlooked. So I'm happy that we're at least able to talk about this now.
Yeah, so we still have one more short category to hit tonight, but I feel like this is the point when everybody either is happy with their Oscar ballot so far or not. I think I'm still in pretty good shape. Do you know how many you've missed?
Oh, I didn't fill out a ballot because I don't need to feel the stress of this.
Oh, all right. That's reasonable. I think I thrive off that stress. When you guys get a chance, check out those short films. Really do. Back to the broadcast now.
Yes! 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 That is what I'm talking about here. First Man. Finally, the Academy really shows some love to First Man. I am not surprised. I knew this was going to take it. I predicted this on Collider FYC. Steve, what do you think of that?
First of all, forget everything else. The best moment of this broadcast thus far was him running around the studio, screaming, going up to the camera, just freaking out. Listen, you know that I also think First Man is one of the best films of the year.
Yep.
I think that Damien did a phenomenal job. I think the VFX are seamless. I mean, I can't. There were brilliant films in this category. Saying that, I thought Avengers Infinity War was going to win because of there's only 80 shots in Avengers Infinity War that do not have VFX in it.
Right.
It is the work that they did on this film is spectacular. What they did with Thanos, making him seem like a real character.
But Steve, what Perry said on our pre-show was exactly right. It was the subtlety of the special effects, of the visual effects in First Man that made it so great, because you really didn't know. There were times you didn't know what was real, what was a visual effect. That subtlety, and because it's real, based on a true story, obviously, that really pushed this movie over the edge. Yeah, it got overlooked at the box office. It got overlooked in other categories at the Oscars. But this is one that where the win for visual effects for First Man was secured.
No, listen, again, I think, but also, I think a lot of people don't realize, like at the end, when they're landing on the moon, Damien hung those huge screens. So there was, the way, you're right, it was very subtle. There was a lot of practical stuff. He did a lot practically to add to the seamlessness of the VFX. All I'm saying, and as someone who loves Damien and who loves the movie, I really do think Avengers got robbed on this one. I really think Avengers was amazing.
Respectfully disagree. Let's keep on going here with the Oscars. We're having a great time. This is a great show. It keeps flying by. We'll see you at the next break. Boom!
Hey, guess who just won an Oscar?
I'm in tears. I am in
He's
tears
actually crying.
because not only have I been a fan of this man since I was younger, I had the honor and the pleasure of having him direct me in Chirac, and to watch that man finally get one of the legit Oscars he deserves after all the work he's put in. Congratulations to all the screenwriters for BlacKkKlansman. It was well deserved, and I'm sorry if I'm emotional for it, but knowing what he's put in to this film industry over all the years he's been producing and directing film, he finally gets his just deserved, and it is rightfully deserved. And it's no knock to none of the other writers in the category, but Spike has been busting his ass for this. And so that's why I'm emotional. Knowing that man, how hard he works on every set. Knowing how hard he works with his actors, with his writers, with his producers, with his cast and crew. That man earned that. And to write such a touching story that captivated the world, to be one of 4 writers that wrote something that captivated the world in BlacKkKlansman. Nobody can say they didn't watch BlacKkKlansman, got to the end and saw that scene with Charlottesville and just couldn't help but break. So I'm just honored to see that for him.
Yeah.
I think that it deserved it without a doubt too. And I love your story and that it is so touching, but also just based off the work, not even just the career alone, the actual script. Based off of this script. And he didn't do it alone. And it was pointed out there that he was the only one who spoke, but that's because of the career.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
part is the career.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think he probably earned a couple Oscars already if you look at Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X and a lot of the other films that he's done over his career. But the fact that he finally got his due for this movie, and as timely as it was, and as powerful as this movie was this year,
Yes.
it was a wonderful achievement to see, and very deservedly so. And so I was really happy. I was thrilled to see him win, and it was great to see the reaction from Sam Jackson when he opened the cards
he just
and
knew
realized that he got to give Spike his Oscar.
They're Morehouse brothers.
Yeah.
What do you think he was more excited about? Telling him that the Knicks actually won tonight, or telling him you won your first Oscar?
I'm sure it's a toss up.
And also we can't forget, Best Original Screenplay for Green Book winning for that as well. Again, I was saying before we came out here, there's a theme that's happening tonight.
Yeah.
There's a theme. There's a celebration of women and diversity, people of color, and all over the spectrum that have been excluded so much from these favorite categories and now being included. And that's because of the new governing and voting body of the Academy.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. There's more voters. There's a larger group of voters, and so it's really changing not just the nominees but the winners themselves. And it sounds like the Oscars are back on. So we will see you in the next break.
All right, that was a big one. Okay, not only did we have the In Memoriam, but we did have Best Score and Best Song. Best Score, of course, going to Ludwig Göransson. What are your thoughts, Darina?
I'm happy for him. I think he's a super talented composer, and
Absolutely.
he's been working not just composing movies, but he's been working in just the music industry in general. He's like Childish Gambino's producer. He's a
Right.
very talented guy, and honestly, to research all of this like Afro rhythms and world music, like he worked with all of these amazing African musicians,
Yeah.
and you can tell he put in so much work to the actual score.
Absolutely.
My personal favorite was If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah.
I love that score so much.
Nicholas Britell, that was one that I wanted to win as well. And
Right.
I really put all everybody picked him.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure, because that score is beautiful, it's haunting. Nothing taken away from Ludwig. Everything
Right.
that you said, yes, it's a beautiful score and another win for Black Panther, which is awesome. But then, of course, let's get to Best Song. Are you surprised? Shallow won.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Apparently nobody was surprised except Lady Gaga. So-
Yeah.
But good for her, man. She's awesome. So,
Yeah. Well done. Yeah. Shallow is one of those songs. Yep. I love it. You love it.
Yeah, I like it,
You like-
but because it's not metal or
Yeah,
like
it's no
the
metal.
Smiths. It's not depressing music.
Yeah,
or whatever.
not a lot of depressing. Well,
But it's a good song, and it was meaningful to a lot of people. So
Yeah, no surprise there. So that one, and of course, then the Academy president coming out, kind of condensing it, getting the In Memoriam. Of course, they used Superman. John Williams' score, Superman for the Kent farm. It brought tears to my eyes. What did you think of that? Did they get it right this year?
of course,
Yeah,
yes, I'm never going to complain when it comes to John Williams.
It was, John Williams' score from Superman, scoring the In Memoriam sequence. It was beautiful. I actually really liked it. I teared up because it is a Superman theme, of course. So there
But
you go.
It
Any
was
last
beautiful.
thoughts?
I mean, seeing Gustavo Dudamel actually conduct the orchestra, I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan. We live in Los Angeles. I go to the Walt Disney Concert Hall and see them all the time. Like, they're a great orchestra, so it was really cool.
Yeah, well, there you go. We got Best Song. We got Best Score. I was hoping for Nicholas there. If Beale Street could talk, go check that out. But kudos. Black Panther is pulling in some wins right now. I don't
Yes,
know.
That's pretty cool.
Could they win a Best Picture?
Hope.
Oh, that would be a big one.
I'd rather than the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. Big time. So we'll see. All right. Let's get back to it. The live stream, Collider. We're all watching it. We're having fun. How about you? Drop in your thoughts right now. Let's do this.
happening, Collider fans? We are back. It is me, Jay Washington, here with Kim Horcher, and we are talking about the pretty much an obvious choice for Best Winner of Best Actor at the Academy Awards, Rami Malek. I think it was a no-brainer with that one.
You were saying that out there. I wasn't so sure.
Yeah, it was, he swept pretty much award season, but also his speech is something that stood out the most that I think we should discuss. Him talking about playing the character of Freddie Mercury, an out gay man who lived his life to the fullest, and we need more stories like that. We've been talking about how this Oscar seems to have a theme, as I said earlier, the theme of celebrating women, diversity, LGBTQ, and more. And so what are your thoughts on that?
We're really pulling it out this year. No, it's about time.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, these stories have existed, and I'm happy that we get to see and hear more of these stories and to really realize the power of diversity. It's not just, oh, we have to have one of these or we're going to be considered bad. It's we have something to contribute, or many different people have something to contribute, and it's good to hear some other points of views and strong points of views.
Absolutely. I think we should be able to embrace the fact that this country within itself, this world is a melting pot of cultures, and not just races, diversities, races, creeds, or religions, and things like that. But the fact that we're celebrating such a profound actor who broke barriers in Freddie Mercury. Mm-hmm. No matter how you may feel about the film itself, the character, his portrayal was pretty much spot on, and he lived it out loud like he should have. Mm-hmm. Do you think any of the other actors probably matched that or whatever?
No.
And I agree with you on that because of the performance that he gave. Once it came out, once Bohemian Rhapsody started getting screenings, people were saying automatically he could be the front runner for the Oscar.
He's come a long way.
And he has come a very long way. We were just talking about that. Jeff Snyder was talking about how he was running naked down the street.
You never know.
You never know. Who would ever thought that the guy from Mr. Robot, would now be an Academy Award winner for portraying Freddie Mercury?
Or Regina Hall, star of Miss Congeniality 2.
Better get 227, but we have those. We have this now, and I know a lot of people are saying that this is just forcing an issue in front of people, and I don't think it's forcing. I think it's saying it's about time. We need to celebrate these. And the fact that Rami said, I am a firstborn generation American of parents of immigrants, children of immigrants. And because of that, it's letting you know anybody can achieve this dream. And I think that should show for a lot of the viewers, a lot of our viewers, a lot of the fans who feel sometimes they're not substantial enough to do what they want to do.
That's what really touched my heart about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is we all have this power to wear the mask, to be the person under there, to be able to be the hero in our own stories.
Yes, indeed. And look, we're getting ready to go back, but we'll be back with more. We're talking about more winners and more discussions here. You guys stay tuned.
So I don't even care about Glenn Close losing after that speech from Olivia Colman.
Yep, I agree. Glenn Close, I love her, but Olivia Colman is amazing. I'm sorry. They're both awesome, but that speech was so good.
Did she legitimately in her Oscar speech make a sound? Was
She
that a
did.
real thing that came out of her
She
mouth?
did.
And also looking at Lady Gaga, like I feel like no matter where she had her eyes, whatever eye
Right.
contact she made, she was just going to shout out every single person she saw.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Lady Gaga just look like she's having fun. I'm like, good for her, man. She's just happy for people. And because we all love Glenn Close, who is an amazing actress, but Olivia Colman, well deserved, man. Like that movie, is so incredible in it. Like as much as sometimes the Oscars will give, an award to somebody that's a good actor, even though the movie's not as good, I feel like Glenn Close is so amazing in everything that she should eventually, hopefully, get an Oscar.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, when Olivia Colman says this isn't going to happen again, we don't
Exactly.
know if this is going to happen again for Glenn
Right,
Close.
exactly.
So my heart does kind of break for
I
her
know.
because, like Olivia Colman said, if you're a little girl who wants to do this, you practice your speech all the
Exactly.
time. You think about this moment, and although it shouldn't mean as much as it does, I'm sure that Glenn Close, as gracefully as she just took this, as
Yeah.
beautiful as she just sat there, I'm sure she's crushed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because how, her career is incredible. Dude, even as Cruella, she's incredible. She's so
Oscar
great.
for Cruella. Start the hashtag right
Maybe
now.
we should have them start a sequel.
I
for
know.
it. Bring it back.
I just feel like I don't know. I feel like Glenn's got one more in her at least.
I'm sure she does. I mean, look at Judi Dench and there's all of these Maggie Smith. There's all these amazing older actresses that are still being great, and Glenn Close has a lot to do. Hopefully,
It's interesting that nobody else is even really part of the conversation right now because they were all had such amazing performances. But I feel like going into this, every single person in the ballot, every single person who was thinking about who's going to win, we already had written it off.
Right.
Like Glenn had this in the bag. So I wonder when everybody was voting for this, did people just think, okay, somebody else is going to vote for Glenn, so I'm going to give it to Olivia?
Right.
Or were they really thinking Olivia has the best performance here and that's why she's getting my vote?
And you know what? That's my preference for a show like this. I think that the performance should win. And in this case, Olivia Colman was incredible in her performance. Like to show that character's duality where you sympathize with the character and she's so vulnerable and you feel for her, but then to also completely go to the opposite where you're like, this person is a horrible person, right? Like that's hard to do.
Yeah.
And she's amazing in everything she does, even Hot Fuzz, because Hot Fuzz is amazing.
I love your random performances that you're pulling in there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that the favorite at least got recognized here and
Exactly,
that she
yeah.
won this. I'm so excited to see what happens next. Fingers crossed for our favorites.
We'll see.
I know you want Roma.
Yes, and Bohemian Rhapsody over here.
We'll
or
see,
A Star is
see.
Born.
We'll
right?
see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
A lot of us wore black.
That's okay.
Why wouldn't you wear
That we did.
We got Paige in the
Baxter.
It's
Oh, we're here.
We're live.
Are we live? Oh, we're live. We're live to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this live stream. Obviously, the ceremony isn't over yet, so if you want to know what we think about Best Picture and Best Director, make sure to tune into a live FYC post show.
Yeah.
This stream is going to end, and soon after that one is going to begin. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. Love you guys.